All right. Hey, my Facebook Live friends. I hope you are doing well. Oh my gosh, we have likes right off the bat. This is very unusual. Diane, how are you doing today? It's good to see people right off the bat. Now, I don't really know how to say this, folks, but ever have one of those days where you're having what we know from history class as the Civil War? And instead of the landscape being 1860s America, the landscape is actually right here. Or am I the only person that can relate to this? I hope I am. Don't hit like on this one because I really hope that none of you can relate to having just the war between the hemispheres of the brain. And that's really what's going on here today. And on a day like today, it makes sense to remind oneself that one is a recovering perfectionist. And I most certainly am a recovering perfectionist. And I thought, what can I turn to right now that's going to help give me some answers? Why do I keep doing this? I keep showing the back cover instead of the front cover. And our mastermind group is going through the 15 invaluable laws of growth. And I thought, I wonder which one of these laws would really speak to what I'm going through today and help me to be able to overcome it. I wonder which one. Well, guess which one? It would be the law of pain. Because on a day like today, my friends, it's kind of like, welcome to the house of pain. Because it's like I got the one side of my brain that is focused on expansion and creating something. And then I've got the other side of my brain, which is very overdeveloped. Okay, it's actually I'm left-handed, so I think this other part of my brain can beat the creative part of the brain in an arm wrestling or a brain wrestling match. This other side of the brain is very watch out, careful, quality control. And there were a lot of quality control issues. There were a lot of branding and messaging and scarcity and perception issues going on that my brain is not letting out today. So anyway, I wanted to just test this out, and I'm learning how to be a little bit more transparent. I always think, what's wrong with me that I don't want to be transparent? Well, I think about my background. I think about environments, which we talked about last time. Think about the environments that I've been in and how many of those environments, particularly educational environments, were I afraid to fail or safe to fail, I guess I should say, or afraid to fail. Many of them I was very, very, very afraid to fail. And so is it any wonder that we have pain? Now, this is my pain. This is part of my pain. I've got other kinds of pain too, but I know everybody walking around on this planet has pain. And the good news is that the law of pain says that good management of bad experiences is going to harvest great growth. Good management of bad experience will result in great growth. So I know that it's not so much the pain, it's not so much what I think the issues are, it's more how I respond to it right now. And it's the same thing for you. So I'm just learning how to be a little bit more transparent, a little bit more not doing everything myself. And I really hope that this can be helpful to you as well. Now, in this chapter, our friend John Maxwell, he goes through a number of different types of pain that he has. He talks about the pain of inexperience when he was starting out, and he talks about the pain of disappointment when he tried to do some things and it didn't quite work out. And actually, I think he speaks in here where he was expanding his family and they were adopting, and then the adoption fell through. And there were a number of different things, the pain of change and how difficult it can be to change, the pain of loss in finances or otherwise. So what I did, at the risk of being too transparent, because anyhow, I am a recovering perfectionist, as I've said a couple times already, but I wanted to write down what am I dealing with right now? And if you like, if this helps you, feel free to comment on whatever you're dealing with right now. Just keep it suitable for work, and don't say anything that you wouldn't want everybody to see, because this is Facebook. But I wanted to share a couple things, and I'm going to go first, and everything on your part is voluntary, but I read and respond to comments afterwards. But there are three big things that are causing the pain here today. I'm going to try to be really succinct instead of going on, but I know that if I manage these pain points well, I'm going to result in great growth. So I'm looking forward to this. So the first P of pain that is giving me a lot of pain today, I don't know about you, probably some of you too, if you're tuning into this, is called paralysis. Okay, I have such major analysis paralysis today, and it's because of another P, which is perfectionism, and I am in recovery for perfectionism. I am a recovering perfectionist, and that means that the other P, paralysis, is going to be very close by. Because you know what, folks, what I do, I want it to count. I know what you do, you want it to count too. And so I don't want to put out stuff that doesn't look great. I don't want to just put out stuff that is confusing or shoddy or, typoed or anything like that. That's why I've been kind of resistant to Facebook Live for a long, long time, because I don't want to be too far off script. I don't want to be too far unedited, and I know I can get myself into trouble. I certainly did growing up in school, got myself into a whole heap load of trouble. But there's a lot of analysis paralysis, and I've got competing events going on. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't want to disappoint other people that I'm partnering with on events. Now, those of you that are speakers and that you do events and you host events, you know what I mean when I say I don't want to disappoint other people. And part of the reason I don't want to disappoint them is because it's possible for me to disappoint them. And the reason is because I have multiple events going on, not just partnered events, but solo events. And guess what? I have different price points, my friends, for these events. I have a Lead Max event that you know about that is absolutely free right here at the Wilmington Public Library. Okay, it's absolutely free. I'm the one, except for me, I'm investing in killer photography. I'm investing in some space afterwards for those who opt into some of our behind the scenes programs to rent out boardrooms so that I can give the best experience to those who are stepping up to commit and to grow themselves. I want there to be a quality community, and that's why I'm happy to invest in that. But that's free for everybody else. However, I'm doing another event just right over the state line here, and it's an outstanding event. Now, the price point for that event is about $500, maybe $600 per table, and the table seats 5 people. So that is a much higher event, and it's a totally different demographic. I mean, the other event that I just spoke of is for teams, it's for organizations, it's for staff, it's for board members, it's for executives, people on a team, and we are up-leveling massively that event to make it possible, instead of being in an event like we were all at in TEDx Wilmington last night in Theater N, which is a great venue. However, it is stadium seating or movie theater seating. So that means you are just kind of stuck next to the people. I wanted to do something better for this particular event over the border in Kennett Square, and so we invested in a new venue with round table seating, and we're going to throw in a catered hot lunch, which is going to be top notch, because the rental facility, the conference facility, is also a catering facility. So it is just going to be outstanding. However, there's a little bit of a cost to that. It's an investment. So I've got these 2 price points. I've got these 2 events. And what's going through my head, because I'm not used to juggling 2 different types of events, I want to promote my Lead Max stuff like I'm used to, but then I want to be faithful to my partners also and promote these other things that are not free, that are a totally different demographic. And I'm thinking, don't do it wrong. Don't mess up, Nathan. And so I've got tug of war going on in my brain. Okay. This is a tug of war. And it's like, stop the merry-go-round, left side of the brain, right side of the brain, and let Nathan jump off. Okay. And that's part of what this Facebook Live is all about. So I've got some massive analysis paralysis, and that's totally reasonable. And I'm sure you'll agree, whether or not you've ever done any events, much less different events that you're marketing at the same time. I think you'll agree with me that it's pretty understandable to get analysis paralysis from that, but we have to move on. What's another thing besides the perfectionism? I mean, obviously, I just mentioned the second P, perfectionism, after the paralysis P. I'm recovering, and frankly, I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to disappoint my partners that I just said. So hence, not just the paralysis, but also the perfectionism behind the paralysis. I mean, if I was just kind of a hired hand, or if the state of Delaware had, maybe hired me to do something, I might just throw stuff out there. But no, this is Lead Max Community, and this is Live to Lead in Kennett Square, and I care deeply about these events. I care deeply about TEDx Wilmington as well, where we had a great event last night. And that's part of the reason that I like to serve, is because I like to be part of even more successful brands than my own, and it helps me grow as well. So so I think the point is, when we have pain, sometimes we peel back the onion, and you can see in my case there are at least 2 layers of P. All right, paralysis and perfectionism. All right, now here's the third one: performance. Right, performance, because at the end of the day, we got to perform. At the end of the day, how many tickets did you sell, Nathan? How many people showed up at the library, Nathan? How full is the room? I mean, are the people on Facebook Live who are local to Wilmington, Delaware, are they ever going to consider signing up, registering, and then showing up and bringing a friend and being part of this learning journey that we're on? Or are they just going to see right through it and not want to grow and not want to spread the word? I don't know. It's all comes down to performance. So there's really a lot of P, number 4, pressure going on. Lots of P. All right. There's a lot of P around, and we got to clean this whole thing up. So here's another type of performance. Okay. And I wanted to be really intentional, and I wanted to really up my game in the video department a little bit. I wanted to up my game in terms of the caliber and the quality of what I was producing. So let me show you what I had here. I'm gonna show you what I produced, and I'm working on a studio. I'm working on my studio, and I'll show you what I had.
Hey,
so I have
Max Community, Nathan Eckel here.
I actually
and I'm
had.
So excited.
I'll tell you this. I actually have a green screen in the basement, and I am playing around with that green screen. And you can, if I didn't have that much of a trained eye when I started, I just kind of knew that there were issues with that. But then what's happened is, you see right here a perfectly fine looking video, but I can see the flaws. And so it's actually holding me back from actually publishing this stuff out. And I appreciate you letting me talk through this, because you might say it's perfectly well
this
too.
Upcoming month,
Take a look.
We're going to be talking about one of the most important personal skills, or growth skills, or business skills that we need today.
We're going to talk
about how to go beyond communicating.
Now, do you see this? Do you see how the black on the back kind of lightened up a little bit? That's a flaw. Okay? That's the flaw. What I'm talking about right there, I can't really show it to you, but you see the black kind of lighted up a little bit? That's the kind of stuff that my brain just zeroes right in on, and it will not let me publish this invitation. It just won't let me do it. because it's just so unacceptable. So
we can actually
this
connect.
is just a 40
It's going to be based on this book by John C. Maxwell. I'm going to give you a few connector principles, and it's going to help you get better results. Come with us second Thursday of the month, and currently at the Wilmington Public Library. Hope to see you here.
All right. So, hey, everybody, thank you for letting me that to you, because when I saw the flaws and the imperfections on that mostly okay looking shot of video, I just was like, don't share it. Don't share it. Don't publish it, Nathan. It's not perfect. The video people who are out there will be able to poke holes in it. Here's another thing. There's somebody on my Facebook wall who I don't particularly know. I don't know this person, and he the way that this person represented himself on Facebook, not always ideal, and so I've had to kind of interact and manage some of the behavior of this person in terms of tagging and things like that. Tagging me, I don't mind being tagged in things as long as there isn't profanity in the tag. And I don't even know the person that tagged me. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. But this same person said something the other day that is actually something that I have started doing, which is basically putting out some of these quote cards to publicize lead max, publicize growth, and publicize the opportunity that we have here in Delaware, not to downsize, but to upsize ourselves from the inside out. That the fact that Delaware is downsizing is only a devastating bad news front page headlines for those people who are unable or unwilling to commit to the difficult process and the painful process, but ultimately a positive process of personal growth. So in other words, Delaware's downsizing is the best opportunity ever in the times that we live in right now, as long as you're willing to grow with other people and grow with me. If you're not willing to grow, these are lousy times to be in, because things are downsizing, and traditionally that means bad. But in these times, it means good. So hence, what I have been doing, that's interesting that there was a second window right there. What I have been doing is I have been promoting these quote cards, and I've been taking some things that I've said or even would like to say and kind of putting, little shout outs, quotes on my quote cards. And so this person on Facebook was basically criticizing that and putting it down. Now, I get that it's, we don't like to be advertised to or marketed to, but that's what Facebook is, a giant marketing platform. And you know what? Maybe he wasn't even talking about me. Maybe he wasn't talking about other people I think he was talking about. But the fact of the matter is, in this medium, the only way to expand, unless you have some kind of benevolent person that's going to promote you instead of themselves, we have to learn how to step up and promote ourselves. So anyway, because this other person, who I do not even know, and this person has been much more actually guilty of questionable behavior. Just because this other person made a little critical comment, I just decided, chose to let that impact me a little bit, and that has gone into the pain soup today, where we have paralysis, we have perfectionism, we have performance, and then we have that other P, which I have forgotten, but there was another P in there, and it was just painful. So anyhow, I thank you for letting me talk through my pain here today. Now, many of you who are maybe watching the replay right now, you know that I had a very, very, very positive, another P word, a very positive day yesterday. And maybe why is that? Yeah, Andrea knows why I had a positive day yesterday. And you know what? All this to say, I had so many people loving on me yesterday, and it was just off the chart. Now, yesterday would have been a good day anyway, because there was a TEDx Wilmington event, and it was a really good event. I mean, it was really, really good. So that's always a positive day. But aside from that, I am going to be joining the roster. I already have joined the roster of a local TEDx event a couple hours to the north, the fine folks over at TEDx Harrisburg. That is coming up, I think, in about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's going to be happening actually before our next TEDx Wilmington Women's event in mid-October. I will have already been done that, and it's going to be great. And so many of you responded with such words of affirmation, belief. I mean, you're speaking all my love languages. It was just wonderful. I mean, it just building me up and encouraging me, and you can do it, and this is amazing. I mean, I had well over 100 people. I mean, this is like better than my birthday, congratulating me. Yet today, I have a very, very painful day with cognitive civil war going on, okay? Tug of war, right hemisphere of Nathan's brain, left hemisphere of Nathan's brain. All right, stop the tug of war, stop the merry-go-round, let Nathan off, because Nathan's brain is tired, okay? Maybe it's because I had such a positive day yesterday that I've been struggling with the recovering perfectionism so much today. Isn't that interesting? Maybe that's why. But in any case, hey, folks, we're entrepreneurs. And even if you don't think you're an entrepreneur, even if you get a paycheck from a business or a company or a small business or a corporation or a government entity or a nonprofit, even if you have a paycheck that is earned by you, you're still an entrepreneur. You know why? Because we all have to grow ourselves no matter what we're doing. We all have to lead ourselves. There is no free lunch out there. Sometimes entrepreneurs act like people that have more traditional jobs, that it's like on some kind of a welfare or a handout. And that is not the case at all, my friends. We all have to grow. We all have to pull ourselves up. We all have to find a way to get out of our analysis and paralysis and get past it. And we've all got to do this together. We're all in this together. So I thank you, because just by knowing that so many of you have been watching this rather intimate, rather transparent video, it's actually helped me process a few things, and I appreciate that. However, there are some good principles here that we've learned from John Maxwell's book. There, I did it again. 15 Valuable Laws of Growth. I didn't even get to the point. I didn't even get to the main point that I was going to use as kind of a framework for this. But he basically says that there are 3 ways that we can respond to pain, and really the pain of lousy experiences in life. I mean, stuff happens, all right? You remember the bumper sticker from the 80s? Stuff happens on the car in front of you at the stoplight. Only it wasn't stuff, okay? Only, if you're like me, you're a little kid, and you saw the 4-letter word on the bumper sticker, and your parents had to tell you to avert your eyes, Nathan. Look at something else. There's a dirty word on that bumper sticker. I don't know if that's still considered a dirty word, because I see a lot of that flying around here on Facebook by good Christian people. I see them using the stuff word that I will not mention. I learned a tongue twister the other day that I might tell you that is very close to this word. It was a fun tongue twister. It made me laugh privately. But anyway, stuff happens in life, okay? And so there are 3 ways that we can respond to the stuff of life, bad experiences, painful experience. Number 1, there are 3 ways that we can respond, and there are 3 awarenesses, I should say, not actions so much as awarenesses. Okay, awareness number one, we have to understand everybody has bad experiences. Everybody has pain. Everybody has bad days. Everybody. And that means me, Nathan. Okay, I'm looking at you, Nathan. Okay, I'm also looking at all of you out there, but I'm talking to me, because this kind of self-therapy today, you can rewind, watch this whole thing double speed when I post the YouTube link, as I always do, to see, what kind of a bad way that I'm talking myself out of today. So the first thing to realize about pain and bad experiences, everybody's going to have a bad experience. Okay, I don't care who you are. Top of the line, they're going to have bad experiences, and you know people who are at lower levels of society or their whole life, sadly, is many times just a very difficult set of circumstances and experiences. On the flip side, many times within a couple of generations, people are, from what the statistics tell me, that I cannot cite right now, but that the cycle of poverty many times can be broken within a generation because we live, those of us that live here in America, that's one of the nice things about living in America. Back when we had a little bit of perspective, yes, we have systemic little issues and big issues as well. However, very hard to get out of just a very low level of society. In other countries, in our system of economics, government, self-management, self-leadership, it's actually possible. It's not easy and it's not fun, but it's better than the alternative. So, that maybe I said that well, maybe I didn't say that so well. Second thing that we can be aware after knowing that everybody has bad experiences. Second thing is universally, nobody likes the bad experience. Isn't that true? Okay. Now, nobody is so much of a, what are they called? The people that like pain, masochist. Okay. Nobody is so masochistic that they just like to inflict the pain and, oh, yippee, I love the pain, unless they're trying to psych out someone who is, punishing them or playing a little mental game on them. I was watching Turn, Washington Spies, and there is a horrible scene of Simcoe. Now, I didn't know that I was going to go in here. Simcoe, the man who looks like a young 1970s Governor Clinton. The actor just kind of looks like Governor Clinton before he was the president back in the 70s, and he was a villain, and he had this high little voice, and he would talk, and it was almost like a sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, only it was a real life figure, and he was unfortunately torturing a spy or a suspected spy, and he was really, it was a tough scene, and the spy was so tough that he just started laughing back at the villain. That was torture. It was almost like Braveheart. Freedom! The guy's doing this horrible, icky, torture on Braveheart. And he goes like, freedom! And so that's the only people that like pain, is my point. The only people that like pain are the people that can just kind of laugh back at pain and laugh back at that. But basically, deep down, nobody prefers pain. That's the second thing to know about pain. And then finally, the third thing to know is that, sadly, very few people redeem their pain. Very few people redeem the bad experience. What do I mean redeem? I mean take a bad experience and harvest it and think about it and flip it and reframe it and find the good learning lesson or growth lesson in the pain. And that's basically what this Facebook Live is all about, because I have been in a state of analysis paralysis because I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I thought, my friends on Facebook Live, they can help me. This is driving me absolutely bonkers. But I know I've got friends in Facebook Live, and I don't want to air all of my stuff, but they will help me get through this. And I'm actually harvesting some good. So I really hope that you've been able to harvest a little bit of good through this Facebook Live. You're welcome to shoot a comment or something like that. Let me know, what maybe this has helped you with. Again, don't make it too personal if you don't want everybody reading that. But I just really hope that I'm not the only one being able to be helped through this Facebook Live. And we'll be back with your regular scheduled growth programming. Those of you that might have curiosity, I know I've had a lot of curiosity about TEDx talks, even though I'm an assistant producer right now, and I've at this point produced close to 7, 8, 9, maybe close to pretty soon 10 TED Talks over the last year, TEDx talks, I should say. And so I know that I still am curious, and so I'm going into this process and I'm documenting what I'm learning. And at some point, if there's interest, if there are other curious people, I'm more than happy to consider sharing what I'm learning as a participant in the process. And then certainly my experience as an assistant producer, what I've observed, that may go into the mix. That may be a separate thing, but if that's something that you might have potential interest in, just reach out to me and give me a little upvote on that, and I'll consider putting something like that together at a future time, or at least maybe doing a Q&A call. Might be a good place to start, just to find out what are the main questions that people have about that. Hey everybody, this has been real, this has been a lot of fun, and this has been 30 minutes of therapy for me. Thanks everybody. I hope that you can join me, if you are local, to join me at LeadMax at the Wilmington Public Library. If you have instead a team, if you're a board member, if you are an executive, if you have other if you have other high-performing teams that you're a part of, that you want to up-level the team and have a shared immersive learning experience that your team can participate in, that your team doesn't come to your familiar turf, but your team goes to a neutral turf, off-site, leave all your problems and challenges behind so that you can learn together. You got to check out Live to Lead, Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, and bring your team and rent a table. Buy a table of 5 or any multiple of 5. You can have 10, you can have 15, but get a table and learn with your team, because the whole day is going to be all about learning. Take care, everybody. I hope to see you in a future Facebook Live, as well as the fine events that I have just mentioned. Take care, everybody.